How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing fabulous, wonderful, incredible. And that's what I hope you're doing. Y'all do me a favor, share, invite. Now I know I said I was getting on at 11:30 today, but I had an unexpected visit with the plumber, and so y'all know how that goes. Well, some of y'all don't, but I'm just telling you. And it threw off my day, but it needed. Well, it didn't throw off my day. It threw off my time. Hey, Gina Maxine. So anyway, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's see. I need to turn Instagram on. Hold on, y'all. Let me do this. Y'all don't have to hang on. Y'all do me a favor. Give me housekeeping. Everybody share. We are talking about manifestation, and I was breaking down to you guys the science that a lot of you guys let me know yesterday that you found very intriguing. So we're going to continue on in that conversation. So y'all do me a favor, housekeeping. Share, invite, all of that. I believe Mika is in the building because y'all know we're going to be doing a double whammy today. We need to build our inventory because we need to be out here winning in these battle streets, honey. And it was stressful. Let's see. It was stressful out here. Hold on. Let's see. Y'all, we got confusion. Y'all keep sharing. Yeah, I think I dropped my phone too many times. My keyboard is out of control. Okay. Okay, y'all. So last night we started breaking down the science of manifestation, and we're explaining how the brain works. Now not gonna go into great detail because I went into we got pretty detailed last night, correct? Hey Jessica, thank you. Hey Betty Boo, what's going on? So this is what I need for everybody to do. Give me housekeeping, so I can test my delay. Hey Content Hub. Okay. Hey. Let's see. What's happening? Let's see. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a 2-for-1. So we're gonna build our inventory while we go over education. Okay. Thank you for the housekeeping content hub. Hey, Trill. You said I got on every color in the rainbow. I do have on a lot of colors today, but y'all know I'm a colorful type of gal. That's my MO. That's what I like. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. I think Rose is going live with me. Afternoon. Let's see. Uh-oh. Anyway, so what we're going to break down today is we're going to go through actual things that you can do, like physical things, easy things that you can do to shift your frequency, because that was the biggest question yesterday. The light goal for today is 100,000 is our light goal for today. Thank you, Dan's Digital Dreams. I like goal today is 100,000. That's what we're going for. So y'all make sure y'all are tapping, and sharing. So I can get unshadow banned. Okay, so we can be back in everybody's FYPs. So taps. And once it gives, you know what I'm saying, and shares help with that process. Thank you, everybody in Instagram land that's tapping and sharing. I see a few of my little red hearts. Okay. So that's what we need out here in the streets. Okay. So a little recap from, well, first of all, I should tell y'all who I am. If this is your first time here, give me a 1 in the chat. If you are returning, give me a number 2. Hey, Yvonne. Hey, Omaleo, what's going on? Hey, Honeydew. Hey, Vanessa. Hey. 1 if you're new, 2 if you've been here before. Anybody that's new, welcome to the kingdom. If this is your first time, I hope it's not your last time. Please make sure you like, or subscribe or follow wherever you're watching me at. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. As always, y'all please help all of our newbies get acclimated, okay? That's the first thing first. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Ashley. I'm a public speaker. More importantly, I'm an award-winning luxury event designer. Okay. And what I do is I help people make money out here in these streets. That is what I do. All right. Um, let's see. And I have helped almost 800 people hit 6 figures. I have 176 clients. Thank you, Betty Boop, for the badge that have made $1 million in under a year. And I have 5 clients now that earn over 8 figures, which that means they make over $10 million a year. So I love helping people get paid to do things that they like to do. Okay, that's what I need out here in these streets. Okay. That's what I need out here in these streets. Um, okay, okay. That's what we do. And I'm also a master manifester. Also, just for your information, if you're coming into the manifestation challenge, today is the last day to get the bonus 9 days. So it will be 39 days for anybody that signs up today, versus the 30. Okay. If you want to know more about that, click the link in my bio, tap the first button. And then at the end of session today, if y'all got questions, you can ask me questions about that. Okay. All right. So next that we need to know about, that's super important. We went through, y'all know I went through my 7 steps on biblical. Okay. Y'all remember that. So I also like to bring in the science because everybody has different spiritual beliefs and different religions, right? But one of the things that I've noticed across a variant of different spiritual beliefs, spiritual practices, ideologies, beliefs, all of that good stuff, what I have noticed, hey Janelle. Oh, I can't hear you. Hold on, let me fix my sound. Y'all. It only does it on the large iPad. It doesn't do it on the small iPad. It doesn't do it on the phone. Incredible bless you, T. Thank you for my badge. But
that said, have you seen Anya?
Oh, I think I have sound now. All right, there we go. I got sound now. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I love the blonde, by the way. I said I love the blonde, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay. You guys, Janelle Nail Tech is our resident nail artist in the kingdom. Okay. So you can book a session with her. She also does classes and she helps other nail techs build up their clientele. So, you know, if you need help with that, slide in her DM, get with her. Okay. We're going to put her on mute though while we go through class sessions today. Janelle, is there anything you want to say to the people before we pop you on mute?
I think you said what needs to be said, so we good.
Fantastic. Thank you, Janelle. Okay, you guys. So I need everybody tapping that screen like crazy. Okay, tap that screen like crazy. Thank you, Happy Me, BB. All right. So we talked about how your brain works. We also talked about energy being mass because whenever I would say that anything that's physical mass is actually energy, it would seem to confuse people. Okay. Not only would it seem to confuse people, I guess because if I'm being honest, unless you're like into scientific studies or like you're doing medical based training, you probably aren't sitting in classes where you're listening to like about the theory of relativity and string theory and, talking about Dinkra codes and all this other kind of stuff, right? But long story long, that is what we went through yesterday. So I'm going to give a real small recap. Y'all share. Content is actually starting. Let me get a ready. Let me see it roll through my chat. And I need everybody tapping this screen like crazy. Okay. Now, first thing first, when we get into our brain, okay? Our brain learns and communicates through electricity. Okay. We all know that electricity is energy, correct? Everybody in here know that electricity is energy? So the quick and the dirty, basically, when Einstein was like E equals mc squared, which means energy is mass and all things that are mass are really energy, he figured out that everything is at a specific like vibrational frequency. Then you get guys like Nikola Tesla that came along, which is why a lot of you guys are familiar with 369 and all of that good stuff. Okay. So, and he starts breaking down math from a God perspective and how pretty much anything in the universe, anything in the world, anything on our planet, when you break down it, even our strands of DNA have a mathematical equation on them, right? Anyway, let me back it up. So, there are like all these little particles and atoms and gluons, right? And quarks, and they're all working together. We can't see them with our eye, but they are basically moving together on specific frequencies. Okay. That is how they work. And so, whenever a mass, something solid, when I talk about mass, something solid is formed, this is the result of all of those little particles and quarks and nuons all moving together inside of a confined arbitrary system. And remember, I told you they work together like the cyclists on the Tour de France, so they're or like how birds when they all fly together, they're all working together like to create like a little energetic vacuum. We'll say for a lack of better words. So mass, like that can be measured, is technically whenever the energy waves are at rest. But the reality is they're never really at rest they're moving inside of a arbitrary system. Okay, so they're just not moving outside of this system. So this is what right in this system makes a shape. So in this case, the shape is my phone, and this is how we get mass. That's the quick and dirty. We talked about it for a long time yesterday. So if you weren't here yesterday, I don't know what to tell you. But that's the quick and dirty, okay? Then I broke down to you about how they use EEG technology. That's when they put the little electrodes on people's heads and they're able to measure our brain waves. And I broke down to you guys that there are five. The brain waves go into five categories, okay? There's delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. Delta is the lowest, gamma is the highest. Okay. And that the longer or larger the wave, right, the lower the frequency. So if you looked at a delta wave, it would be wide. Okay. The amplitude on it, okay, it's very, very different. It's going to be wide. And remember, I told you it's in between 1 and 3.5 hertz. This is typically when someone is sleeping and they are not dreaming. This is also found, a lot of delta waves are found in the brains of infants, like up to the age of 1. Okay. Then I told you guys about theta waves. They are in between 4 and 8 hertz, and that these show up when you're dreaming. So if you're sleeping, you're dreaming, or when people are in meditation, is also where you see a lot of this. Did I say yesterday's live? Nope. Well, I will say this: if you're inside of my monetization nation or Instacoin, you'll have access to it. They'll have access to it. Anybody coming into the manifestation challenge, they'll have access to it. I told y'all I've been teaching a lot of stuff right now that people like. Y'all do understand that people pay me like tens of thousands of dollars to come in, speak, train, teach this stuff at conferences, workshops, all of that. So I'm not sure if you're in the Commerce Club, but I do send out email notifications to let you guys know what we'll be talking about when we're going over those things. So if you're not in the Commerce Club, click the link in my bio, scroll down to the free 99 section. It does not cost a thing, and you can sign up. And so then you'll know when I'm doing specific trainings. And what I may do, because the same way that I sent out the Bible-based manifestation and I sent it out for a replay and gave people 2 days to watch it, maybe I'll do the same thing for the Commerce Club today. Would y'all like that if I did that? So just for everybody that's in there, and I'll send out yesterday to y'all, because it's really, really, this stuff is really good. Okay. And it all makes sense. Okay. Now, back to what I was saying, theta waves. When you're meditating, when you're praying, when you're asleep and you're having dreams, this is when you're going to see an abundance of the theta waves. Okay. That's how that shows up. Then you have alpha waves. Okay. Alpha waves are in between 8 and 12 hertz. Okay. When your body is relaxed, when your brain is relaxed. Okay. This is where you see an abundance of these. All right. Now, I want you to think about your theta waves about your alpha waves like a bridge from the conscious to the subconscious. So y'all know we have like a left side of the brain, a right side of the brain, and all this good stuff. Your alpha is like a bridge. Okay. So a lot of your emotions and stuff like that are going to be around here. Okay. Your physiological reactions to different things and different people. That's how that works. Does that make sense? Okay. Then you have your beta waves. Okay. Beta waves are from 13 to 32. You see these most present when we are actively thinking about things. Okay. You see these most present when we are making decisions. You see these most present when we have to problem solve. Make sense? Make sense to everybody? Okay, that's when you're going to see these. Then there's gamma. Gamma, okay, would be top tier in the category. These are in between 32 and 40. Let's see. These are in between 32 and 40 hertz. And when you are like processing a lot of information, like, you know how people send you stuff and people like, oh, I'm processing. That's when you're going to start to see those present. When you are having to do like deep problem solving or planning. So, like when you're doing math problems, when you're doing like equations, right? Those sorts of types of things, that's when you're going to see more of the gamma. That's when you're going to see that. Does that make sense to everybody? This is why a lot of times you'll see people, they'll tell you to do like math problems, word drills, math drills, word problems, all those different sorts of types of things to improve your brain functionality. Okay. Now remember these little EEG, the little electrodes all over people's brains. What they saw is that when we were having thoughts, the thoughts shot off little electricity. So you may not be able to see it with your naked eye, because y'all know there's this question like, oh, can you see a thought? And if you can't see a thought, that means that a thought isn't real. Absolutely, positively not. Okay. Thoughts create electricity. Okay. It's scientifically proven. And what do we know mass is? Okay, what do we know electricity is? Electricity is energy. And what do we know mass is? Mass is energy. So, realistically, this is how manifestation works from a scientific standpoint, because manifestation is bringing things from the thoughts and from the spiritual realm and making sure they produce over here in the physical realm. So I hope everybody, that's the quick and dirty on yesterday. Okay, I hope everybody can understand that bridge. So now that leads me to actual physical actions that you can do that will increase your frequencies. Okay, yesterday we also talked about the frequencies of different emotional states, right? And I shared with you guys that 700 plus is enlightenment, 600 hertz is where we hit peace. I talked to you guys about joy at 540. I think everybody knows love is around the 500 mark, but we also talked about some of the lower vibrational, because people are like, oh, it's low vibes, and people just say that, but I don't think that they actually understand. You know what I mean? That these are like different waves, right? It's different, like the different vibrations. That's why it's low vibes. So like fear is at 100, pride 175, anger's at 150, reason is at 400. So all the logical people, they're pretty high, you know what I'm saying, up there. Grief is at 75, shame is at 20. And I really talked to you guys about how the emotions of shame and grief, oftentimes will lead into depression, self-deletion, you becoming a hermit, telling yourself no, counting yourself out of things. Like that's where that's coming from. Okay. So everybody was like, well, Ashley Ann, how do I shift my frequency? So we're going to talk about it. So y'all remember when I gave you the 7 steps of biblical manifestation, I was talking to you about Habakkuk, right? Hold on. Let me give y'all a review of the steps because everybody wasn't in here. So my framework, and I gave all the Bible verses to support these things when we went through this the other night. Hey, Chicago John. So inside of my framework, you have to have belief in order for this to work. And even I went through several scriptures in the Bible where basically it teaches you that if you do not believe, okay, if you do not believe when you pray, if there's any doubt, then even the word tells you you should not expect anything. Okay. So they have to go in tandem. So we have belief. And then step number 1 is where we go into consultation. Okay. AKA your prayer. All right. Learning things. Because I talked to you guys about if you really love yourself, right, you're going to know thyself. Then number 2 is learning what your true identity is, not relying on the identity that the external world has put on you. Then number 3 was going into being intentional, right? Setting our intentions. Number 4 is whenever we get into the decree and declaration. Number 5 is whenever we write in authority. Okay. This is where there's going to 5, 6, and 7 is where the frequency change is happening. Okay. Number 6, you take your action, aka your behavior. Number 7, being consistent. Now, in order to take your action, well, you got to back it up to the writing phase. Make sense? Everybody picking up what I'm putting down? Now, I'm really about to blow y'all mind. Now, I want y'all to think, because everybody was thinking about frequencies, right? I was talking about 100, 500, 600. We talk about 440, 430, all these sorts of types of things when we get into the frequency side, correct? Now, a lot of y'all, I know for a fact, you have not thought about all of the decimal points in between. So when I say everything is vibrating on a specific frequency, everything is vibrating on a frequency, and your job is to shift the tuner to the frequency. But I want y'all to think about how many combinations of numbers there are, okay, in between 1 and 2. In between 0 to 1. I want y'all to think about that. From 0 to 1, how many numerical combinations are in there? Because there's no law that says frequencies are just like whole numbers. There's no law that says frequency is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 700. A lot, just from 0. So that means that there are things vibrating at like a 0.000122356. There are things vibrating at a 401.36789106 7. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And the reason I'm explaining this to you is because someone asked me, and I thought it's only one person that asked me this. They slid in my DM and they asked me this, but I said, I love the fact that they asked this question, and I'm going to answer it on the live stream tomorrow. But this explains, right? Because people were like, well, if there are these frequencies and everything is vibration, how do you explain all of the different things in the world? Because of all of the numerical combinations. You picking up what I'm putting down? So literally, I mean, I don't know what the frequency is on my iPad. I don't know what the frequency is to make an iPad, but I'm telling you this, the large iPad, the iPad Pro, the iPad Mini, they all have different frequencies, because think about all of the numerical combinations that can be put together to create mass, because remember, energy is mass. So this is why when people tell you, oh, you just have to you have to be in alignment with it to manifest it. And then I always tell you, what do I always tell y'all? Alignment is actions, and your actions shift your frequency. What controls our actions? What we speak and what we think. And this is why I tell y'all, you got to be focused what's on here instead of what you're saying here. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Everybody picking up what I'm putting down right now. As I said, some of y'all were mind blown. Because how many times have y'all ever really thought about the combinations of all the different numbers of, all the different combinations of numbers that you can have? And this brings me back down to why a lot of people will say that the language of God is math. You see what I'm saying? They're not. And so some people are like, oh, that's blasphemy when people say that. It's not blasphemous when people are saying that. They understand that God has created, right, a system, an organization, and it's organized based on numbers. That's what our human brain can understand. You said OMG clarity. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Like y'all got to think about it. Y'all like, if this is good to y'all, tap the screen. And if you know someone that could use this information, bring them in here. So now that we've explained this is why when some of you guys are trying these manifestation techniques that these random people are giving you on, TikTok and Instagram, is why they are not working for you. Because when you understand energy and emotions, okay, when you understand that your thoughts are actually putting out little electrical pulses that can be measured. Your brain, when you have a thought, your brain is actually pushing out energy. Well, now if I think about something specifically, and if I do it enough, and if I have the actual emotion behind it, well, now we can start manipulating energy or pulling things to us. So once I understood this, is once I really started to change my life. And, I've been able to go places that other people in my bloodline before me have not been able to go. And this is why a lot of people will tell you your thoughts and the five people around you, right? And your daily conversations and actions are going to be the sum of your reality. Because I want y'all to think now, I'm going to take it a step further. I want everyone in here to think about when you have conversations with certain people, how do you feel? I want y'all to think about that. Everybody just take a second. Seriously, let's just take a second. When you're having conversations with certain individuals, some of them you feel hype, some of them you feel blessed, some of them you feel less stressed, some of them you feel happy, some of them you feel warm and fuzzy. And then think about there are some people, whenever you have an interaction with them, you feel sad, you feel depressed, you feel drained, you feel anxiety, that right, you feel down. Why is this? Because of the energy that people are carrying and they're emitting. That's making sense now, ain't it? This is why people like me tell you one of the most important things that you will be able to do, that you will ever do when it comes to shifting your frequencies and manifesting an alignment, is going to be shifting what you are consuming via the media and your conversations. This is why I tell y'all, if you want a happy, healthy family, or you want to be in a loving romantic relationship, you should not be spending the majority of your time inside of platforms that actually, are putting out the opposite energy, right? If you're in platforms all the time where people, as a matter of fact, hold on. So I was in a platform like, this has been a minute ago. Like, I'm not sure if it's quite a week or close to the week. Hold on. Let me read this to y'all. I got this message last night from some lower vibrational being. Okay. I took a screenshot because I was like, this is crazy. And every blue moon, I get a message like this and I just rebuke it and send it back to where it came from. So y'all know there's this conversation floating around online about, a man and a bear. And would you choose the bear or would you choose the man? Okay. Now, let me be clear. I have no issue with what anyone chooses. Okay. But I do have an issue with there are several women that choose the bear and then they're mad at those of us that choose the man. Y'all know I chose the man because my mind automatically didn't go to abandoned folly. It did not go to a nefarious man. I have like what I'm saying? I'm surrounded by amazing men in my life. So, and I know if I wasn't there with a man that was trying to attack me, I have a better chance at surviving than than the bear. And there's also like a lot of, data to stack it up and prove it. And typically when women fight back, there's 3 out of 4 women that fight back. They actually are able to escape when they fight back a aggressive man. Okay. So I also know that there are some women on the planet Earth that are maniacal, evil, and lower vibrational as well. So when I look at those types of behaviors, I don't quantify that on a gender. I just feel like that's a different types of people with different types of energy. Okay. Now, what is interesting to me though, that there are so many women that choose the bear and now they want to attack the ladies that are choosing the men. And I've had several of them call. Y'all heard we were in here one day. That woman called me a pick me bee, like out of nowhere. Like, and she didn't say bee, she said the full word. They have wished that my husband cheats on me. They have said they wished harm on me, like, oh, well, if you ever get attacked, if you ever get raped, if you ever get assaulted, don't you come and talk to us. Why would you be wishing that on me? So I just want to give you guys a prime example. So this, I open up, I'm just, y'all know I try and go through messages periodically. And this woman is calling me this is what she says. And this effing, and they're using full words, okay? Black roach is the reason why we will continue to choose the bear. You don't mind me. Find you Buick back, build a B. Exclamation point, exclamation point. I don't know when you are going to stop trying to be picked as a married woman coming on this app talking ish, supporting some of the most deplorable black men of this app because you want to be a effing big black B. I can't stand you, mammified B. F you, your legacy, your bloodline, and whatever self-esteem you have left, and don't give a F about black women, even though you are one, you dumb B. Okay. So let's be clear. Now I rebuked it and sent it back to her whatever it is, with 10 times what's on it. Okay, y'all saying yikes. But this is the thing. Now let's be written. Now, what did I tell y'all that the frequency of reason is at 400, right? So that's a higher vibe. Clearly, this is a person that's not operating in a frequency of any high frequency, not self-acceptance, not willingness, because I think willingness is around 250, right? Acceptance is around 350. This is someone who clearly is operating in fear, okay, operating in oppression, someone who also operates in violence. And if you go and look at the frequencies, they're going to be very, very, very low. Also, someone who's in anger, right? So now I want y'all to think about this. Now, if I was and this is the thing, when I was in the space, I'm pretty sure I know who this creator is, because she tried to say that one of the guys in there, that CPS should be called on him. He has custody of his daughter. He's a girl dad. His daughter is on the honor roll. She looks very happy, very emotionally stable. You can tell this guy's doing a really good job with his daughter. And so I was just like, I know that there are jokes and stuff that go on the panels, but why would we be putting this out there, right? Especially when we're saying we want more black men that are going to be fathers, that are going to take care of their children. And because of this, this person they've probably popped up like maybe 15, 16 clone pages and just been following me all over the TikTok for like a week. It's weird. But that happens with people that are there because they're literally in a mental psychosis because of the frequencies that their brains are putting out. Now, this brings it back to a point. I'm sorry, I'm squirreled a little bit. Anyway, at the end of the day, imagine if I surrounded myself with people that thought like that, acted like that, spoke like that, behaved like that on a regular basis. Imagine if every interaction I had, definitely demonic. Imagine if every interaction I had was with someone like that. Hey, Sarah, 7:16 p.m. Right? Does that make sense? Imagine. Now, we're going to take it a step further. I want y'all to think about when you're anything you want in life. If you want a happy, healthy baby, if you want a husband or a wife, if you want a new car, if you want financial stability, if you want time freedom, if you want to have like better friends, like maybe you need new friends and you want better friends, if you want to be a better friend, if you want to have more like familial experiences, that are positive. You guys are sharing things together, right? Does that make sense? Like, I want you to think about that. Now, I want you to think about what you consume on a regular basis. When you open up your phone and you get on social media, what's the majority of your timeline filled with? When you're going inside of these rooms for education or you're on panels, where are you spending the majority of your time? When you turn on the radio or you play music through your laptop at work or your phone, wherever you're playing music from, what's happening with the lyrics of the music? What's the content matter? What's the subject matter? What are they talking about in the songs? Are people talking about going through hardships in life? Are they talking about heartbreak? Are they talking about being happy? Are people talking about, looking for fulfillment and peace? Are people talking about how much they love each other? Or are people in here talking about all of the violent, vile things that they want to do? Are people, you listening to stuff that's talking about praising and worshiping the Lord? When you turn on your TV and the TV shows that you watch, okay? Does your channel stay on the ID channel all the time, where everybody is the killer in the closet? I've already told y'all like a few years ago when I stopped watching Lifetime because I realized it was shifting my brain. Because there was always something really terrible happening to women in those movies, like always really, really, really like the most horrendous stuff. My heart goes out to them, but I'm like, no, wait a minute. There's a lot of women that these things are not happening to. And I was like, you know what? Let me get out of here. Right. Because it was right. So like you have to really start changing what you are consuming through your eyesight and through your ears. Does that make sense? You said YouTube with Law and Order. Let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with like watching some of those shows. It's just when it's overly consuming you, right? Like if all the podcasts you listen to, all they do is talk about lower vibrational things and encourage you to do lower vibrational things. I've told y'all there's a lot of people that will cheerlead you off a cliff. Then that may be like you may need to cut back on that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we're just going to hear that, once this week. And then we're going to find shows and podcasts that reinforce what we want to bring forth in our life. So I remember when I was, trying to build the life that I have now, and there used to be this channel called the Wealth Channel. I don't know if it's still, it was actually the acronym because it was like a wealth of entertainment. And so the acronym made all like AWE. I don't know if this station still exists. Okay. It wasn't like super popular. They didn't have like a lot of advertisement or anything, but on this channel, all they did was focus on wealthy-ish. And I loved it. And I don't even watch TV like that. I would just have it on in the background. Okay. And then if I looked up at the TV, I loved seeing somebody buying a yacht. I love them focusing on homes in the most prestigious zip codes in America and the renovations or purchasing them. Them traveling to exotic countries and exotic lands. Them telling me about different festivals, events, conferences, for the super elite and what they were doing these. That is how I got in those circles. Because I watched that channel and that channel was like, hey, there's a conference here and all of these really wealthy people go here only these 2 times during the year and they vacation and they network and they meet each other and blah, 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 blah. So they have their Mai Tais and they're also building connections. So I figured out, okay, this is what I want in a home. This is what should be going on my builder. And then it went from me seeing it on TV to me like actually living it, right? In my actual life. It turned into every day for me. This is how I started learning more about like tax mitigation. You know what I'm saying? This is how I started learning all these things, right? So long story long, you can shift. I started shifting the podcast I was listening to. Let me listen to podcasts where they're talking about the stock market because I want to be a person that's trading and getting, a 56, 57% return. Let me start watching shows and listening to men and women who are talking about how much they love each other and how they've been able to have a happy marriage for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. Let me listen to channels where people are talking about how they got out of dark places in their life and how they were able to overturn, right? So I'm not saying that you can't, I'm not saying take away everything that you're watching or listening to or participating in right now. What I'm saying is maybe it needs to be recalibrated or rebalanced so that the majority of what you're hearing is not the antithesis of what you're saying your true desires are. So that's the first way to shift your frequency is start to be extremely mindful of what we're listening to and what we're hearing. Okay? That's the first thing. Okay? And I know y'all like, Ashley, how does this relate to Habakkuk? Because I brought up Habakkuk. So Habakkuk is the scripture where basically it tells you to write the vision and make it plain. Okay. The scripture I gave you guys specifically is Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 2 through 3. And I'm going to read it to you. And then hopefully it'll make all of these actual things that we're going through, these actions to shift your frequency, make sense. Okay. Habakkuk 2, chapter 2, verses 2 through 3. And the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets. Okay. We don't write on tablets anymore. We write on like papers and notebooks. Okay. Some of y'all ticky type, but I'm going to talk to you about why you actually need to physically write. Okay. Write the vision, make it plain on tablets so he may run who reads it, for still the vision awaits. Still the vision awaits its appointed. It hastens to the end. It will not lie. And if it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come. Okay. So the breakdown of that, the first part is telling you to write your vision. What do you want for what do you want for your life? Y'all know what I teach y'all? Pies. Pies eye. Okay? Pies. Physical, intellectual, right? Emotional, spiritual, and then income. Okay? Pies. Or you can do PII, ES. Pies. That is what I teach y'all. And I tell you to go through those sections. And when we did like our transformational challenge, that little 7-day challenge, remember I told you just focusing on one thing out of each section. Trying to do everything all at once is too much. Okay. So this is why for some of you guys, when you create vision boards, you are not getting the result that you want. Because remember, your manifestation has to fit into your current reality. Now, our goal is to keep up leveling the reality. So I gave the example last night. If you live in your mom's basement and you're like, oh, my next car is going to be, a double R Cullinan. I purchased that vehicle that it was like over $400,000. You know what I'm saying? There are some things that we need to get in order before we get to the Cullinan. Now, I'm not saying that you can't manifest your next vehicle as a Cullinan, but there are going to be some things in between. So if we are where we are now to where we want to be, guess what we're going to do? We're going to write down where we want to be, and we're going to write down the steps to how we're going to get there. Okay. Because I just told you guys that God uses order. God uses a system. God uses numbers, right? All right. So in Habakkuk, where it says, so he may run who reads it, that's action. So we got to write it down. Then we have to take the actions. Okay. So what you're writing down is like a guide to tell you what you need to be doing on a regular basis. Okay. For still the vision awaits its appointed. The appointed is going to be you. We all have the ability to co-create with God what we want to see, what we want to hear, what we want to feel. Okay. And then it says, even if it seems slow, baby, because you wrote it down and we're putting it in place, it's still going to come to pass. So I know you like, Ashley, what does Habakkuk have to do with these EEG tests that you brought up? It has a lot to do. It has a lot. Okay. It has a lot to deal with it, my dears, my pretties. Okay. So basically, okay, when you're out here in these streets, having your thoughts, the thoughts are putting out energy, aka electricity, depending on the emotions that are attached to the thoughts, right? Is shifting that how high the frequency is vibrating. Read with me. Then we start looking at the difference in between writing and typing, because I always get asked this. And people are like, Ashley, why do you tell us to write? If you guys missed it, the first physical action is you're going to write out your vision, and then we're going to write the steps or things we can do to transition, right? So, right. And I was talking about like your media, what you're consuming, what you're listening to. Okay. Like that's a step. Write it down. Like I'm watching this, I'm listening to this. Like you're going to seek that out. Like your social media pages, like the accounts, some of the accounts that y'all are following right now, you need to silence them. Okay. But why do we have to write it versus type it? Because some of y'all are like, I love putting notes in my phone. You know what I'm saying? I love on my laptop. Okay. So they have done so many studies using these EEGs. Okay. What's crazy is that they have tested between when they ask people to write out information versus information typed. They also do tests where they ask people to describe things through writing them or through drawing. You guys, when you are putting like pen on paper, when you're writing and when you're drawing, first of all, the information that you're getting is more deeply encoded in your brain. Now, yesterday, how did I tell you that our brain communicates? Through electrical currencies, because there's all these neurons in your brain and they communicate with one another through the electrical passes. Okay. So information is more deeply encoded literally when you write as compared to when you are typing. The next thing, when you use your hands to write or draw things, it's a sensory motory experience. Okay. Any of you guys that are in I'm speaking in childhood development, I'm speaking your language right now. Okay. And shout out to all my teachers in the building. Okay. They will tell you how important sensory and motor skills and experiences are for children. Okay. Sensory motor experiences stimulate your brain, and more regions in the brain are activated when doing that as opposed to the repetitive motion of typing. Because when you're typing, all of the keys are the same on your keyboard. When you're typing, right, you don't even have to look down because of the hand placement. As opposed to when you're writing, you're using your eyes, you're using your hands, your wrists, your breathing, you're creating different shapes. Okay. If you're drawing, you're shading, you're coloring. Is this making sense to anybody? You picking up what I'm putting down? So your brain's connectivity is going to be further enhanced, which breaks us back down to energy and all of the connective tissue that's working with the particles and the quarks. Making sense? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? So your brain also, okay, also when you're writing, the information, like I talked about how the information is more deeply encoded, your memory is also enhanced when you write because you're creating an experience, and people are 70% more times likely to remember when they are physically engaging or physically doing something. So long story long, when we are coming up with our vision, this is why I would encourage you to get a journal or a book that is specifically for your thoughts. I have one, mine is next to my bed. I forgot to bring it down here, but maybe it's not for y'all to see it. Somebody might be trying to steal it. I don't know. Okay. But I have a book, and literally I practice my scripting inside of this book. Okay. And I also told y'all my daily affirmation, right? Any of you guys who purchased the manifestation kit, you guys all have a copy of my manifestation, and I created it with fill in the blanks so you could go through it yourself. My affirmation that I read, it was written out by hand. It's all typed up and pretty to y'all, but I wrote it out by hand on my wall in handwriting. It's behind me right now, behind this taffeta. Right. Okay. Right. You want to manifest things, you want to shift your frequency. Right. It's going to start with writing. Okay. And I don't care, you know what I mean, how many oils and lotions and potions and all that stuff you're getting. If you want to be able to kick it up, you simply need to write. So you're going to get a journal. You're not going to write anything else in this journal except for our positive thoughts, okay, and what we're creating inside of this journal. If you want to take it a step further, you can pray over the journal. Some people also like to keep their journal, on top of the Bible, okay? But you're going to start the process of writing. You're going to get your journal. You're going to pray over the journal. What did I tell y'all the step was before we get into writing? I said you declare and you decree, right? We set intentions, we declare and decree, and we write in authority. So you can declare and decree that only good things are going to be coming through this book or through this journal, right? That the blessings that you write are going to manifest into reality, and you will have the honor and the privilege of being able to see them and experience them. If you want to take it a step further, baby, and you want to put some holy oil, okay, on that book, you put you some holy oil on that book. Okay, you can pray whatever protection. If you like to do, protection psalms. Some of y'all really like Psalms 31, Psalms 91, all that stuff, whatever you want to do, but you're going to get your journal. You're going to set your intention for this journal. You're going to sanctify it. You're going to declare, you're going to decree, and then you are going to start writing. Jesse, you said you definitely keep your journal on your Bible. Yeah, it's a lot of people. What they do is they'll have their Bible, like in next to their bed or in a safe place, and then they put the journal like that they're using. They pop it right on top of the Bible. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. Okay. Now, y'all know how I always teach you about doing gratitude chants, because I tell you, when you're in a space of gratitude, anxiety, depression, anger, violence, aggression, disrespect, all those negative emotions, they cannot exist. So after we get up in the morning and we got ourselves in a good state, okay, we got our good gratitude, we're going to start the process of writing what our new vision is going to be, and the steps is going to take to get there. Okay. Now we're going to be writing a lot of stuff. So the first thing, you're going through your pies, you writing down each pie, like what's the ultimate vision for this pie. And then we're going to reverse engineer and break down the steps. I already told y'all, you're going to shift what you're listening to, what you're watching, what you're participating in social media, all that good stuff. Okay. If there's specific podcasts, shows, creators, influencers, songs, stuff like that, right? Like you're doing the research, you can write down what you want to start incorporating in your life. Okay. Now we doing our gratitude chants. Okay. I'm thankful and grateful for this. I'm thankful and grateful for that. I'm thankful, grateful, thankful, grateful, thankful, grateful. We have done our gratitude chants. Now we can start our daily, okay, our daily writing of thanks. Some of y'all like, what? Yes, a daily writing of thanks. Okay. So you go to a place where you feel peace. Okay. I don't care if it's outside on your front porch, if it's in your backyard, if it's in the car, if it's in the bedroom, whatever you want to do. Do I do 369? I don't do 369, Christina, but I know 369 works for a lot of people. And 369 is an extremely powerful manifestation method. And I know a lot of people do that, but I don't do 369 because this is the process I use. So I get up, I do my gratitude chants. You know what I'm saying? I already know what I'm focused on at this point in time. And so, also, if you need another little pick me up, I like to start off my day with gospel music. I've been doing that for a very long time. A lot of times, the first thing I will hear outside of, what's going on in my mind or a conversation with God is actually praise and worship music in the morning. So I like gospel music, right? Along with my gratitude chants. Okay. Then you're gonna go to a place in your house that's like a happy place, a peaceful place, something where you don't feel disjointed, a place where you can feel relaxed. This is why I talk to y'all about the importance of having a clean space. Okay. because they have done a lot of research too. A lot of people feel anxiety when they're surrounded by like clutter and mess, and a lot of clutter and physical mess oftentimes is a sign that something is off kilter with your emotional or your mental state. Baby, you look, don't fight me. Okay. I'm just the messenger. I'm just telling you. So you need a happy space, a calm space. So I don't know what that looks like for you, but it's whatever that's going to be for you. So it could be outside in your backyard, it could be in your bedroom. Some of you have actual prayer closets. For some of y'all, it may be at the kitchen table, having your cup of tea. Some of you guys really, really like your bathrooms, like that's a happy space for you. Doesn't really, matter to me. You just need to pick your space, whatever that space is for you. And you're going to take your journal after you've done your gratitude chant. If there was particular music that you listen to that puts you in a happy mood or a good mood, listen to your music. And we're going to pop open our journal and we're going to start the process of writing what we're thank you for. Okay. And you're literally going to write the very first sentence, thank you, God. Or you can say, thank you, thank you, thank you for. And we're going to write down what we are 10 things we're thankful for. Okay. 10 things we're thankful for. We're going to write thank you for 10 things we're thankful for that you can see on your regular day. I'm thankful for my pillow. I'm thankful for my home. I'm thankful I'm in good health. I'm thankful, both of my parents are still living and I have a good relationship with them. I'm thankful for my new clients. I'm thankful that my audience grows, daily on social media. Whatever you're thankful for, you're going to write those things down. Okay. So now we've physically said our gratitude chants. We got music that has us in a good mood, a good space, right? We already are focused on our pies because we wrote down our plan for that. And now daily, I'm starting out my day, writing 10 things that I'm thankful for. Then you're going to skip a space. Okay. And remember, we're manifesting, we're bringing different things in. You're going to write. Remember, I told you when you pray, you focus on the prize and not the problem. So, if you believe God is doing it, why wouldn't you thank God for it? So, thank you for what's coming. You're not going to say, I want this, because in order to want it, you don't have it. When you're in a space of want, okay, a space of desire, and I'll talk to y'all about that. That's a lower frequency. That's a 125. It is impossible to want what you already have. You don't want good health when you're in good health. You don't want to have a child when you're having children. You don't want to have financial stability when you're already financially stable. You don't want to have a husband or a wife when you already have a husband or a wife. You don't want uh, a good relationship or kindness whenever you're experiencing kindness in a good relationship. You don't want romance when you're already having romance. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And the reason I'm telling you this is because a lot of you're writing affirmations, or you're like practicing your scripting, and you're writing what you want, but you're writing it as you're saying, I want it or I will. If you are willing, you're wanting it, okay, or you're going to do it, that means it hasn't happened. It has not happened. So you have to be very, very careful. So if you keep right, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then you're like, why hasn't it happened? It didn't happen because you're literally manifesting it not happening. You're manifesting being in a space of desire, being in a space of wanting. So we're going to write what we're writing what we're thankful for that we can see and touch and feel and hear right now. And then we're going to write you're basically moving into a space of expectancy. In the church, they will say, praise them in advance. That's what they say it is in the church. In the church, they will say, praise them in advance. Does that make sense? So Marvin Sapp even has a song called He Learned to Praise Him in Advance. Okay. So you're going to say, if you're going through your pies and one of your physical pies is maybe you're trying to lose 20 pounds or something, you're going to say, thank you, God, for allowing me to lose 25 pounds health. healthily. Thank you, God, for giving me the energy and the strength to complete my workout. Thank you, God, for changing my taste. So I crave lean, greasy vegetables. You know what I'm saying? I don't whatever it is that you're thanking for, though. But that would be an example in the physical, right? If we're on the spiritual, thank you, God, thank you, God, for making your voice clear to me. Thank you. Y'all see what I'm saying? If you're trying to get a car, thank you, God, for my new whatever type of car you're trying to get. Maybe you want, the Mercedes 300 or something. Thank you, God, for my Mercedes 300, black on black, sports mode. Blah 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 blah. I don't know. I don't know what you're going to be writing or what what I'm saying. But whatever it is, okay, okay, we're thankful. So 10 on what's already there, then you're going to go down and we're going to write what we're pulling in. So okay, so if you are focused primarily like on physical and financial or something, then your thank yous are going to be about the physical and the financial, and you're going to be in the proper emotional state and thinking about how good it feels to have accomplished that or to have acquired that thing. Okay. Hey, Ruda, you're welcome. Next thing next. A lot of people don't like it when I say this, but this is true. Exercise. Y'all know I'm very, very I'm very staunch on getting my time to go walking inside of the park. Y'all know I like getting in 3 to 6 miles whenever I can. I'm very I'm like, no, this has to happen. And now I've picked back up my weight training on a more consistent basis. There's all kinds of proof that shows that exercise releases really good endorphins. It also gives you dopamine hits. And because you feel happier, guess what you do? You're in a higher vibrational state. So you want to shift your frequency, incorporate some exercise or some movement. Y'all know I've also told you that dancing is really, really good. Okay. Also, something super easy you can do to shift your frequency into a higher state: laughing. I know it annoys some of y'all that I laugh about so many things, or that I, can make a joke out of a lot of things. But I really want y'all to think about the people that y'all know that are always laughing. They're always having a good time. They're always joking. I want you to look at their lives. Most of those people are really, really happy, and they have a ton of good things happening to them all the time. People that can figure out how to make a joke or see the humor in things typically are going to operate at a higher frequency, because there's not a lot that makes them angry. There's not a lot that makes them sad. There's not a lot that makes them grouchy. So you can intentionally maybe create laugh breaks inside of your day. If you have a favorite comedian, you may put that may be a thing that you start to do, is once a day on social media, you spend 5 minutes or 7 minutes on their page. If there's somebody that you like to talk to on the phone and y'all always have a good time and y'all are always laughing and kikiing and all of that, this may be a person, hey, I need to put it in my calendar to start going to lunch with them once a week or every other week, because we have a good time when we're together. It's really this simple, but people are not being intentional about it, right? If there's somebody that, you know what I'm saying, like all the time, you're just smiling when you're around them or after you've had a conversation with them, guess what? Have more conversations with them, talk to them more. Is literally going to raise your vibrations. Literally. If there's somebody's content and you enjoy their content because you feel good after you've had an interaction with them, guess what? You need to turn on your notifications and you need to enjoy more of their content. Okay. Now, something else that's going to increase your vibrations is intentionally being kind, intentionally practicing kindness. Kindness and love are up there on the charts. It's way easier to be mean, nasty. It's way easier to be apathetic. It's way easier, you know what I'm saying, to not be concerned with anyone else. It takes a bit of effort to be kind. It takes a bit of effort to be a little bit more thoughtful. It takes a bit of effort to go the extra step or the extra mile, right? For someone else. That takes a little bit of effort. So I'm not saying that you have to turn into a doormat because sometimes people misinterpret it as that. What I'm saying is that you may pick a day during the week or every day. It may become a practice for you. I'm going to intentionally show kindness to someone else. Your kindness could be through paying it forward, you know what I'm saying, at the coffee shop or at lunch. Your kindness could be having a conversation with somebody. Your kindness could be, extending prayer. Your kindness could be, I'm just going to go through life and I'm going to compliment everybody I see this morning. Okay. But intentionally practicing kindness is one of the easiest ways to increase your vibrations. And I want y'all to honestly think about when you watch people interact with one another. Unfortunately, you see a lot of people being very, very unkind to one another. You see a lot of people being unkind in their speech. You see a lot of people being unkind sometimes, right? In the actions after. And it's easy, like this is something that doesn't cost you money. It's easy that you can address somebody by, you know what I mean, their proper name. It's very easy to give someone a compliment. It's very easy, you know what I'm saying, to hold open the door for someone. It's very easy that if you see someone drop something, you pick it up and say, hey, hey, you dropped this, right? It's very easy to leave a nice comment on somebody's post on social media. Right? It's very easy. So kindness, like literally being intentional about saying, I'm going to be a kinder human being. I'm going to try and put out, right, good things, good vibes. Okay. Next, atmosphere shifts. Okay. Atmosphere shifts are a big one. So, if there's something that you're aspiring to become or you're aspiring to acquire, you can actually go into that environment. And you don't have to spend all your time there. But y'all, this works so well. I've been doing this my whole life before I even knew what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? It's just naturally, it was in my instincts to do this. So I remember when I was in college, I knew I wanted to live in a neighborhood exactly like the neighborhood I live in now. And we would drive around for hours into all of these different neighborhoods. And I'd be like, I wonder what they do for a living. You know what I'm saying? Like how are they affording to be here? I wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? I went like they there, I'm not. I was like, I was like, how are they affording this? This is fabulous. This is wonderful. I want this for myself. So then I took it a step further. Instead of driving around in the neighborhoods, I would start going to open houses in those neighborhoods on, on Sundays. I would start going to the open houses. Didn't have no money to buy nothing, didn't care. I just wanted to be in the atmosphere. What does it look like? What's the layout? How much are the utility bills? Do they have a HOA? What's happening with the floor plan? How much furniture does it take inside of here, right? Because I just want the house, babe. I want a house with furniture, right? And so literally like just a small, and so like that would be my thing I would do like once a month. I would just, go to open houses in neighborhoods that I aspired to be in. Then I took it a step further and I was like, you know what? Let me start grocery shopping in the neighborhoods I want to live in. And y'all, it did not take long. Within like a couple years of me finishing my master's degree, I literally was living in a neighborhood that I had been driving through, and going to the open houses in college. It did not take a long time at all. So I would start going to the grocery store. I would start going to the bank. I would I would start going to the gyms there. If there's walking trails, I would go walk through those trails. I literally created an atmosphere shift for myself. You know what I'm saying? And your atmosphere shift doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be, I think sometimes people think like it has to be like permanent when you're starting. No, you're just experiencing. It's just the feeling. Like I remember the first time I purchased a first class ticket, one of the best things I ever did because it created an appetite for me to be in that type of atmosphere. And then like when I go to resorts, ask anybody that knows me, I feel like, why do I have to, even though I'm very blessed that I get to go on vacations and that I can change my work office to whatever country I want it to be in and stuff like that. But some of the level of service I was getting, I was like, why do I have to wait for vacation? Why can't I make this my life every day? And so now that's my current thing. The way that when I go to a resort and how I live, I want to live like that every day now. I've decided. And I'm gonna baby step it. I was like, first I'm gonna start with buying our next home inside of a different, country or a different location. Then after, we move through there, getting regular house help coming in, like for our retreats and stuff. And I'm not talking about like the maids and stuff. We have the cleaners and the yard people come. No, I'm talking about like cooks coming in on a regular basis. People tell you I have chefs that come in and all these sorts of different types of things, right? So then, something else you can do to shift your atmosphere, maybe a store or a restaurant, go in the store, go in the restaurant. Let's say this restaurant, it costs $400 a person to eat there and you can't afford that. Don't spend the $400. Go during lunchtime where they have really, really good deals, or during happy hour, and have yourself a drink and an appetizer, or go in the evening and have yourself a dessert, and a cocktail. Like seriously, like atmosphere changes, like they're very, very small. Maybe you're tired of hitting the club scene, but you want to go out. We'll start going to the art district, right? Start going to the gallery, start going to the live shows. Like, I mean, it's very simple, but again, you have to be intentional about it. So an atmosphere shift automatically, you remember I told y'all, how do we bring things in? We align. How do you align with something you're trying to manifest? You do it through actions, your behaviors. And some of y'all, if you're writing, what you're writing gives you a guide, right? So if now like, okay, I'm doing full atmosphere exercises, what I'm saying, on a regular basis. So literally just you want something different and maybe you can't physically get there. Okay. Well, we all have the internet now. So you can't physically get there. You absolutely can find a video online of a place you desire to experience, right? We all can find a video online. Okay, I can't I'm watching this video of this beach or this dance or these people, right? Well, let me see what people do when they're there. Like, what type of actual experiences are they having? Are they going on tours? Are they at chef's tables? Are they interviewing the locals? Are they doing historic like bike rides? Are they going through the gardens and the paths with people? Like, what are they doing? Let me live through them and what they're doing, right? Oh, well, you know what? These people that live here, well, guess what? I can buy the soap. There's this resort, the Viceroy. The Viceroy is beautiful, especially one in Mexico. It's like right on the ocean. It's in the jungle, like little monkeys and animals, like are hanging out on your hammocks and stuff. And I remember before I went, because I had learned about them from that All channel like years ago, and this before I went years ago. And so I was researching. I was going to the site, and I found out that they sell soap that the people there make, and they make this is the best soap I've ever used in my life. As no chemicals, anything like that. They make it by hand. And they use like the different like berries and sands and herbs and stuff like that are there. And so I found out they had soap. So before I actually went there, I purchased soap. I purchased the soap from them. And I would be in my shower, you know what I'm saying? Imagining that I'm going to be in the outdoor shower because they have these beautiful outdoor showers with all of the villas. And I would be using my soap. And not only when I went did I have a private villa, did we have our gorgeous outdoor shower, we had our butlers, and all of that stuff. Guess what else? Whenever we went to the spa, we had the spa entirely to ourselves. We did not have to share the spa with anybody else. So we had us a whole like romantic, like whirlpool, the salt bath, the body scrubs, the massages. We did everything. Okay. Out here doing the most, walking through the jungle hand in hand, going out to the beach, having breakfast every day. You know what I mean? Getting my lime and my tea. Okay. I'm out here living. Like, stop playing with me. But I like when there's something that I'm interested in, I start trying to learn about it. If I can't physically go there, let me watch. You know what I'm saying? If I like, I'll watch, I'll read a book, let me listen to interviews or people tell me through about their experiences. Oh, there's a way I can get a little piece of it, maybe through a t-shirt or a soap or a little bracelet or something. Let me get it. You know what I'm saying? And literally it just, boom, you're in it. Okay. So the atmosphere shift is a very, very important part of being able to bring that thing into your reality. And this is very, very tiny, but you can't do the atmosphere with a negative mindset, right? So that's why before I'm telling you, you do the gratitude chants, you do the music, you start moving through your dancing and your exercises, right? Those sorts of types of things. You're laughing on a regular basis, right? You're practicing kindness. So now you have the proper posture when you're there, right? Now you have the posture when you're there. So now when you're going through the open house or you're sitting in that restaurant having your croissant and your coffee or whatever it is that you wanted for yourself, well, now you're in a good attitude, you're in a good space, you have a good aura, you have a good energy, people are walking up and talking to you, you're making friends. And guess what happens? Somebody invites you to come to something, and that leads to something else, which leads to something else, which leads to something else. Yeah, I mean, is literally that simple. Okay. Something else, and I've shared with you guys before, is actually on a regular basis, and I've shared this with you guys before, grounding, spending time with plants and nature and grass and sand and water. Okay. Like, actually, like, the people, they say it in a sarcastic way now. They're like, go outside and touch grass. Y'all ain't touching grass. I can tell they not touching grass by the way they tell other people to touch grass. Okay. When you're outside, with your flowers or with your plant babies or in the sand, in the dirt or the mud, or with your potatoes or whatever it is that you're doing, okay, out there in the grass, you don't need, like, I'm telling y'all, it chills you out so much. You don't even act that way. You don't even act that way because you're literally spending time with nature, and they've done extensive research to show that plants actually are communicating all the time, that they're putting out healing and very positive waves. And remember, we talked about like your theta waves, delta waves, gamma waves, alpha waves, beta waves, all that. Like they're actually putting out waves. Okay, they're putting out frequencies. Now, y'all remember last night I told y'all most human ears, we can't hear until it's around 20 hertz. But they've done all these experiments where they play sounds that are vibrating at 19 hertz, and they automatically can measure panic and anxiety and fear inside of humans. Even though your audible ear can't hear it, but your body and the other, right, all the other energy, it can feel it. Wild, right? That's wild. I know, very, very crazy. It's wild. So I know it's definitely crazy. So long story long, what I am telling you guys is that these super duper simple things will help you shift into your frequency. Now, again, like with vision boards, I'm not opposed to them. I don't think there's anything wrong with a vision board, but this is why a lot of y'all, when you make a vision board, the vision board isn't working because maybe you weren't in the best mood when you made the vision board. Maybe you made the vision board, but you speak things on a regular basis that are the opposite of what you say is on your vision board. You consume content and energy and music and shows and, panels and podcasts on a daily basis that are the opposite of what you say, what you're saying you want to bring into your life. Okay? You have to shift it. And I'm telling you, when you write, okay, I broke it down to y'all from Habakkuk. Write the vision, make it plain, okay? Write it, and it's going to give you the instructions on how you need to run, how you need to move. Why are we writing? Because I told you guys that whenever you write, your brain actually encodes more information as opposed to typing. There's power in pen and paper, okay? When you write, your brain's connectivity is enhanced across multiple regions inside of your brain. When you're writing, okay? When you're writing, you're enhancing your memory. When you're writing, you're participating in a sensory motory experience, right? That falls into a behavior. So if you're writing in authority, right? Okay, because we consulted, you know what I'm saying? We set our intentions, we declared and decreed, we prayed over our journal and all that stuff. Now we're writing based on our pies. Now we're immediately after we get the pies and we get our action steps. Well, now it's time for us to put it in practice with the daily thank you scripting. Okay. Right now I'm doing the daily scripting. I'm feeling good. I'm smelling good. I'm looking good. People running around telling me that I'm glowing. People just saying, I don't know, you look different. You change your hair. You change your moisturizer, your foundation. You look different. You look better, girl. You look better, sir. You know what I'm saying? Like people, they may not be able to know exactly what it is, but they can feel it and they can see it on you. You will start to see that you will start manifesting things crazy fast. Crazy fast. And remember, you're writing, it's a guide. Okay. And then something else I like to do just to take it a little bit over the top. I have my music on or whatever it is that I want. I got whatever in my mind. I like to go back at the end of the day and I like to read what I wrote. I like to read it out loud. I like to say it out loud. I write it and I like to repeat it out loud. I like to say the thank yous out loud. Then you doing that and you coupling it with like a little bit of an atmosphere shift. And because remember, you're being intentional. So now you're not speaking against what you want. You're not speaking against what you're bringing. Okay. You're not speaking against what's coming. So now instead of you wanting it, you have it because you're being it. Does that make sense? Listen to what I said. Now you're not speaking against what you want. Because you're not speaking against what you want, you are being it, aka you're in alignment with it. And because you're being it, you have it. Okay? Does that make sense? Make sense? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? So if you found that helpful, if you found that useful, if you enjoyed that breakdown, tap the screen. We're only at 61,000 likes. Our tap goal is 100,000 likes, so we behind. Fingers of fear. I know some of y'all weren't tapping because you've been writing. Okay, tap that screen though. If you found that useful, okay, if you found that helpful. Let's see. Also, if you want to study with me, I am doing a manifestation mastery challenge. We'll be starting at the end of this month. For any of you guys that enroll today, we will be together for 39 days instead of 30 days. Okay. So click the link in my bio. There's no reason for you not to be able to come because we have a flex pay plan. So even if you got bad credit, baby, we're not doing no credit check on you. You can break down those installments. We also have a buy now, pay later. Okay. So because some of y'all like to buy now and pay later, you don't want to pay right now. You can do it that way. And then, of course, you can just pay in full with your credit or debit card. And it does fall under your business education, which is a tax write-off for you guys. So anyway, click the link in my bio, tap the first button. You'll see all the details about the manifestation challenge that we have coming up. And let's get into Q&A. Oh, thank you, Peaches. Thank you so much. Hey, Kumba Couture, what's going on, gorgeous? How are you? How you been? I need to catch up. I ain't talked to you in a little minute. Okay, I'm trying to, let's see. Okay, I have a question. What if you manifest rich, but you're in the wrong environment? That they put ish on you that ain't true. Can you explain that in a different way? Are you talking about people just talking negatively about you, putting salt on your name? Is that what you're saying? Because that goes back into when we were talking about your vision for yourself, and that goes back into who's around you, right? One of the first things I talked about after writing was being in control of who you're having conversations with, who you're spending time with, what you're listening to, and what you're consuming. So realistically, if you're in an environment and it's filled with like toxicity, that's lower vibrational, right? That's lower vibrational activity. And so you literally can shift your circle. It's not hard. It's not hard at all to find new friends. It's not hard to find new associates. It's not hard to find people, that will be supportive or want you to win. People, if you have a core belief that it's hard, it will. And then the other thing, I would tell you to do, and I've talked about this before, we may need to try and slide in another manifestation um training tomorrow, but accountability is a big part of manifesting things. And so if you keep getting the same outcome everywhere you go, is you. I'm not saying it's you because I don't know you, but if you get the same outcome all the time, is you. And people don't like to hear that. If you've been in 59 million relationships and you have never had a good man or you've never had a good woman, is you. And what most people do, they want to focus externally, you know what I'm saying, and say, "Oh, it's all them." No, it's not them, it's you. It's not, it's just the people that I least expect, that's all. So that means that something is off with your discernment. See, here we go. I'm just telling you what I know. And this is coming from a person who went through a bankruptcy period. I did not have good people around me, from the person that I was dating to the person I thought was my so-called best friend at the time, but I was the common denominator. The issue was me. Okay. And so my issue that I had to fix was being an extreme people pleaser. And my issue that I had to fix was I had to stop betraying myself, because realistically, I would think that I was the exception. I'm not the exception. A snake is a snake, a potato is a potato, a tomato is a tomato. So when you see these people exhibiting these behaviors and they're doing them to other people, they're gonna do it to you. It's literally only a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. And so if you can justify it or make excuses for it or look the other way, those sorts of types of things, it is you. So you have to figure out why do you keep being attracted to that familiar energy? Why do you keep going back to that same path? Why is it when you're around this energy, you're not recognizing it until they've hurt you or offended you, of caused you, you know what I'm saying, to lose something? So you have to, and this is for everybody. So you really have to ask yourself that, like, what am I doing to contribute to getting this same reaction over and 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 over again? Because okay, I'll give y'all an example. There's a person, I'm not going to say their name, they're a popular content creator. We've been working together behind the scenes. If they ever feel compelled to come out and say, "Hey, I work with Ashley and it helped me do XYZ element of P," they can do that. A lot of you guys have noticed a very positive change in this content creator. A lot of y'all are commenting on this creator's growth and all of this kind of stuff. Okay, I've been working with this creator probably for like 4 months. Okay, and I had to tell this creator that they were the drama, that they were the problem. And they got mad at me at first. But after they calmed down, it took about 2 weeks. Okay. They came on back around and they was like, "You're right." And I was like, the reason I had to tell them they were the drama is because there were certain behaviors and mannerisms that they had that created friction and a specific trigger into several different people with several different personality types. And what I'm saying is sometimes, like for instance, if you're an enabler, you'll see people that are enablers, they enable a lot of people all the time. They just do it. You know what I'm saying? You'll see people that are people pleasers, they're people pleasing a lot of people. And so what they do is it creates a sense of entitlement from these other people. So to where they feel like, okay, now they're entitled to your time, or they're entitled to your money, or they're expecting you to come in and fix things all the time, right? Like, but it's like it's a monster that you created. If that makes sense. So sometimes you are the problem because you keep engaging in certain behaviors. Maybe you don't have boundaries. Maybe you let things slide when you shouldn't. Maybe you're a person, like the way that you communicate, a lot of people feel that it's disrespectful, or they feel like you're, demeaning them. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, because I don't know specifically about your situation. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of ask me vaguely on the stream. I'm just giving examples. But there comes a time you have to figure out, how do you keep ending up in these particular situations? How do you keep ending up in a situation where, people that you think are your friends, or the people that you least expect, would betray you, or go behind your back, or talk about you, or you know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you keep ending up in those positions? And are you really as good of a friend as you think you are? Because a lot of times people demand things from people that they're not giving. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you out here talking about, oh, they talk to, I've seen this happen in real time all the time. People will come in guns a blazing, doing wild stuff to people, and then when someone reacts with the exact same energy, they can't see it. They're like, they did this to me, and I'm like, yeah, they did that though after you did this. And then I no, I did that because of blah, 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 blah. Well, guarantee they feel that the reason that they did whatever they did to you is justified as well. So a lot of times, and I know people don't want to hear this, but a lot of times if you're finding yourself, you're struggling with like maintaining relationships. And when I say relationships, I mean friendships, I mean working, like colleagues and co-working relationships, business relationships, romantic relationships, parental relationships, familial relationships. It's you. If you keep having the same type of outcomes all the time, I'm telling you, it's you. And I went through a period where I had to, I went through that period like with myself. So this is when I was dating, and I had to figure out, like, I kept making men feel like they didn't need me. Every man, no matter how much money they made, no matter the accomplishments, no matter if they were, preppy, athletic, techie, geeky, it did not matter. Every man, it was the same thing. They would all be like, you don't need me, you don't need me, you don't need me, you don't need me. And so it was causing, you know what I mean, a disconnect with me being able to be inside of a healthy relationship. And so I started shifting stuff. Like, I wasn't telling them like, I don't need you, I got this, I got that, what can you do for me? It wasn't that type of thing. It would be like my actions, you know what I'm saying? Or me not giving them the opportunity to fix things. Or if I had a problem or something I was going through, I wouldn't share it with them. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't give them an opportunity to be there, so they couldn't figure out where they were fitting in my lives. And I know a lot of women don't want to hear that. Oh, well, that's an insecurity, that's this, that's that, da da da. Okay, you can keep saying that, sis, all day long, or you can shift it so you're not lonely anymore. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I had to. So I'll give you an example. Okay, there was this guy, and he was over, and I had cooked him breakfast. Now y'all automatically know we was deep into a relationship if he was at my house. It's only the 7 years I was single. It's only 4 men that have ever been to where I live. Okay. So I cooked some breakfast. I had made some pancakes and stuff like that. And before anybody say, why did you cook them breakfast? Because he would cook for me and take me out and do nice stuff for me. And long story long, my buttermilk pancakes is fire. Okay. So he was like, hey, I'm coming over. And I was like, I'm about to cook. Have you had breakfast yet? And he was like, oh, you gonna cook for me? He's like, what you cooking? I was like, I'm doing buttermilk pancakes. I'm doing, some shrimp and grits or whatever. And, like a little fruit salad or whatever. Right. We was eating good. Okay. We was eating real good that day. Okay. So anyway, he's over, and I have some trash that needs to be taken out. And he's like, I'm gonna take it out. But see, the way I work, the way, like, especially when I'm cleaning and I like to like cook and clean as I go and stuff like that, I wanted that trash gone immediately. Okay. Now, in my head, I thought that I was cool. Like, I didn't, even though I didn't nag him, even though I wasn't like, take it out, take it out, take it out right now. I didn't say any of that. He was like, I'm going to take it out. So I didn't nag him or say anything about it. But what I did is because I wanted the trash gone right then, I like walked up, tied it up, and took it out. And when I came back in, he was like, I told you I was going to take it out. I was like, I know you said that you were going to take it out. I was like, but I was like, I just wanted to go on right then. You see what I'm saying? I do y'all, and some of y'all girls are like, what's the big deal? Who in here knows why I shouldn't have did that? And I was doing this all the time. All the time. It'd be the same thing if, somebody let's say they put some cups in a cabinet. I may not like the way that the cups are in the cabinet. I'm not going to tell you that you put the cups in the cabinet wrong. I'm not going to say anything to you. I'm just going to come behind you and I'm going to put the cups in the cabinet the way I want it. I'm just going to go redo it and put them in there the way I want. Eden said a man needs to feel needed. A man absolutely positively needs to feel needed. Okay, but it's more than him just the feeling of being needed. It's more than just the feeling of him being needed. It's a trust thing too. With that small action of me just taking out the trash when he was like he got it, I basically was letting him know that I didn't trust that he had it. That I didn't trust his judgment. That I didn't trust his timing. I know some of y'all like, Ashley, it is not this deep. It is this deep because you do it all the time. I'm saying y'all I was doing it all the time. It did. It took away an opportunity for him to prove himself. It took away an opportunity for him to do something for himself. And it was the fact of the matter that he was like, I got it. I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted it done though, like right then. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't like, I was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I was like, you're chilling. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you chilling, you relaxing. I was like, breakfast was good. I was like, I just like to try and clean everything all at once before I sit down. And people may not be able to communicate that because these are feelings that they could be having on a subconscious level. But I was doing this all the time, constantly. You said I'm married 20 years and it's absolutely that deep. Yes, I was doing this all the time, like constantly, right? So I had to shift my behavior because, like I said, no matter the background that these men came from, no matter how much money they made, no matter if they were CEOs, CFOs, professional, athletes, whatever, Silicon Valley tech guys, engineers, it did not matter. I was making every single man feel the same way. And the problem was me, even though I wasn't nagging, even though I wasn't like, I do this and I got that and I got my own house and my own car and I got degrees and I don't need you and I got money. I wasn't on that type of time. You know what I'm saying? It was just the subtleness of me literally always taking care of things as if they weren't going to take care of it. Right? Right? Like, you said I had to be self-aware because I'm used to doing things myself. Facts. Like it was a shift. Like, so I had to really, so what I did is I went to my male cousins that I spent a lot of time with, and I told them, I was like, about this issue I was having. They was like, yeah, they was like, you do have that issue, blah, 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 blah. And so I asked them anytime they saw me operating, in that, to call me out, to check me. And they did for like a year and a half. And sometimes I'd be grateful, sometimes I'd be agitated by them doing it, but they were doing what they asked me to do and it needed to be done. And so once I was able to get out of that particular frequency and that particular behavior, I stopped having the issue of men saying, oh, you just don't need me, until men was like, I want to be with you. And then it was like, why don't you want me? That's what I was getting from men. You said I did that before. I had got sick over a guy's house and bought some groceries that need to be put up. And I asked him to put up, he wanted to wait, but wasn't doing anything. So I got up and did it. Right. And I'm not saying like if it's a one-time thing, you know what I'm saying, it's not that big of a deal. If it's a one-time thing, it's not that big of a deal. But I'm telling you, this was constant, and it just wasn't with the trash. It was in everything. You said my husband got scared. It became calm speaking. I told him I want a better relationship. He got scared because you started speaking calmly. You say, yes, I have that. One, lack of boundaries, but I learned the very important word no with the period at the end. The word no is a whole sentence. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, but I mean, like, and I know a lot of, I'm sure some woman out there looking right now, she's like, "Oh, you're a pick me, whatever, baby," and I got picked. You want to be picked, and that's why you're out here aggressive and angry at everybody else in your path on a tirade because you want to be picked, and you're not. You know what I'm saying? And you're not because you haven't realized that the issue is you. And sometimes it's like some. I'm just telling y'all this: the only common denominator in your life is you. So even if it's that you keep going back to the same type of familiar energy, even if it's bad for you, you're still the person that's going back to that energy. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, for the most part, thank you, Janelle. And that's why I was like, for the most part, I was like, y'all just gonna be our last one. Hopefully we building up. Hey, Miss Button. But this is why I was telling y'all that if it's the same thing, you have got to say, okay, what do I need to shift about this? The greatest love is for self. Every person put their own needs first. Facts. Facts. But like this is really a thing. Even in the scripting, like if you're out here, like if literally in your conversation you're always talking about what somebody did to you, you're a person that lacks accountability. And I'm not, and this is the thing that people don't understand. You taking accountability for something doesn't absolve someone for something that they did to you that was disrespectful or wrong or trash or unexpected or hurtful. It does not absolve them from that. Understand this. And I think sometimes when people take accountability, they feel like them taking some type of onus somehow means that, those other people, what they, what I'm saying, what they did doesn't work. If we need work done in the house and someone gives me a number, I let my husband talk to the contractor and handle it, even if I'm going to be paying for it. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Queen. Thank you. So, but like literally, some of y'all's conversation, y'all are always talking about what somebody did to you. You're always talking about how somebody said this, did this, messed up this, didn't put that there, how they left you here, how they left you there. I've literally heard people tell me, "Oh, everyone in my life always leaves me. No one does anything for me." Well, sis, sounds like you're doing a good job picking people in your life. You know what I'm saying? And they like, what? I'm like, you're telling me no one has ever done anything for you. Is it that when people do things for you, you don't say thank you, you don't recognize it, so therefore they don't want to continue to do things for you? Is it right? You know what I'm saying? Is it because you're asking the wrong people? Sometimes you're not asking for too much, you're just asking the wrong people. Some of y'all like asking people for things that those other people don't have the capacity to give. And y'all have a very, very bad habit of asking the wrong people for things. Some of y'all have a really bad habit of focusing on who's not there instead of focusing on who is here, who did appear, who did show up for me. I'm just saying, like once you said people absolutely be victims to it more than others. They're actually speaking up, being vulnerable to what's going on. I'm not saying that people are not victims to different stuff, but if you're a victim to the same thing all the time, no, you're not a victim, you're contributing in it. And I know that's hard for people to hear, but that is the truth. That's the truth. Yeah, I've watched so many of these people that say everybody leaves me, and I watch them and I watch their actions, I watch how they speak to people, I watch their behaviors, I watch how their brain processes information, I watch what they do after, and every single one of those people that and they're like, "Oh, everybody leaves me." When I watch them, no, you push everybody away. You're so insufferable, so negative, so intolerable, never appreciative, never, like even having even doing something as simple as saying thank you when people do things, they don't do it. Like because they're in a bad mood, they feel like they can lash out, abuse people, cuss people out, not keeping their word, not not making amends with people, not admitting to when they're wrong, when they've misspoken, when they've misunderstood. There's so many. I watch their behaviors, like because I was like, this is very interesting that there's a set of people, and they're like, oh, no one's ever there for me. Everybody always leaves me. Blah 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 blah. And I started paying attention to them, and I was like, no, baby, you're not being left. You're pushing people away, and the people that came to you that wanted to be in your life, for whatever reason, you didn't deem them as worthy or good enough, and you ignored them. You said, yeah, that was me. I used to pick people to be around me that were terrible. I was the problem, right? And you have to figure, like, so they're like normal butterflies. They eat pollen and nectar, and you know what I'm saying, they're just floating around being beautiful. But there's this one particular butterfly, I can't think of the name of it right now, and it's a beautiful butterfly, and it eats poop. All the other butterflies are eating nectar, they're eating pollen, they're having honey, they're floating from flower to flower, they're out here going from herb to herb, they're hanging out with the hummingbirds, being amazing. But this one butterfly, this one specific type of butterfly doesn't seem to know that it's a butterfly, and it eats fecal matter. And it has an extremely short lifespan compared to the other butterflies. And some of you guys are like that particular butterfly. You like to eat poop. You don't even realize that you've created spiritual connections and soul ties with different people. And so you're being led by the spirit to go back to that same spirit, to that same energy. Hey Janelle, thank you so much, my love. Come on home, girl. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna open up the panel because y'all know when we do questions about this type of stuff or commentary, it's just way easier to get to it if I hear from you. So we'll do Q&A for the next 15 or 20 minutes or contributions, and then I'm gonna get on up out of here because y'all know it's the weekday. Now we'll be back around, I think what we say, from like 6:30 to 8:30 or something like that, or maybe 7 to 8:30. We're gonna come back and we're actually gonna battle since we have some inventory. Miss Button, you gonna be back on, girl, because you got these goddamn gloves. How do you break a soul tie? First of all, you need to repent. You need to repent, you need to rebuke it and replace it. You may need to seek help, from a spiritual advisor. You may need to do a fast. No, you're not muted. I can see your comments. You're not muted, gorgeous lady. You said, well, it sounds like a person that walk around like their ish don't stink, where this one person is more open. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But I mean, I'm not really here to argue. I know what I know. You know what I'm saying? And once something is put out there, either the person wants to pick up the information or they want to leave it on the ground. But I know for a fact that, and again, you taking accountability in things doesn't absolve someone of something terrible that they did. But if you find that you're constantly in these same type of situations, if you find constantly that, like, for instance, if you're a girl or a guy and everybody you've ever been with has cheated on you, you're the problem. People don't want to hear that. It's true. It does not absolve that person of them stepping out on you. But if everybody cheats on you, nah, dog, you're the problem. It's something you're doing, something you're saying. It's the type of personality that you're selecting. Because again, you're like that butterfly. You just keep going back to eat poop. There's certain characteristics. There's red flags that you're missing. You may be creating an environment of entitlement, or you may be creating a persona, and people feel like in your personality that they can disrespect you and you'll still stay around. And so literally you would have to shift by putting up boundaries. You would have to shift by, when you see those immediate red flags or personality traits that you're so familiar with, moving in the opposite direction of that. You would have to, right? Like you would have to start working on maybe even shifting the place, where you're meeting people. And you're going to have to do some evaluation inside of yourself. What actions or behaviors am I taking that make people feel that they can treat me this way? Maybe you're oversharing information that you shouldn't be sharing when you first start. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have to talk to someone, pretty extensively and work with them to be able to help them figure out what those cycles are and how to break them. But I'm just telling you, that is what it is. And people do not like to hear that. But most of the time, people, like on a spiritual level, will continue to seek the same frequency that they're familiar with. Remember, we talked about this last night with how your brain works. Now, I told you to think about it like woods or forest, and you're trying to clear a walking path or a riding path. And the first time you go down the path is when it's going to take you the longest. And every time you go down the path, it's going to get faster and faster and faster because you've cleared stuff out of the way. You've trampled down the ground. Now it's a clear path, and you're very familiar with where you're going, so you can shoot back and forth. It's the same thing with energies and spirits and familiarity. If you are familiar with a certain frequency or a certain vibration when it comes to a romantic partner, and you happen to be familiar with people that treat you like poo, you may keep picking those people that treat you like poo. You said people team up together. It don't mean their words are true. Why are you telling me about other people? But I'm speaking is true. If you don't want to hear it, girl, leave. You still here though, because your soul knows what I'm speaking is the truth. If it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, people can get together and lie, but at the end of the day, if you're a person and everybody you're around keeps lying on you, you are the problem. Why would you continue to be around people and choose personalities of people that are going to be disloyal to you, that are going to lie on you, that are going to throw you under the bus? Why would you keep going to that? Because everyone on the planet Earth isn't a liar, and a lot of us have very positive experiences. A lot of us, myself included, we have friends that we've had for 20, 30 years, and I'm in my 30s. So for me to be friends with somebody pretty much as long as I've been on the planet Earth, and these are people that are loyal to me, they do anything for me, I do anything for them, I'm loyal to them. We don't lie to each other, we don't lie on each other, we've never put each other's business out. Even if we had like a little falling out, we don't team up with each other's enemies. Even if we're not dealing with each other, it don't matter. You ain't their friend, well, baby, we're not gonna be friends because I know that you don't like somebody that I love, and vice versa. And so because of that, right? You know what I'm saying? We when we go out, we're fighting over who's picking up the check. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to do things for each other. We help each other through hard and difficult times. So if you're the type of person who you've never experienced friendship on that level, I hate to tell you, you're the problem. There's no how do you have all these other people, how do you have all these other people on the planet Earth, and they're experiencing these amazing friendships with people, they're experiencing amazing relationships with people, and so this is why a lot of y'all are going to struggle whenever we talk about the science of manifestation. I can give you the steps, but if you don't want to take them, there I can't make you do it. What they say, you can lead a horse to water but you can't make it drink. Hey, J Hop. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it a buck. Like, that's a really, really real thing. That's a real thing. And people always push back when we get into accountability. Hey, J Hop, how you doing today? You said one. Yep. Once you put up boundaries, people, places, and self change, find out where will respect your boundaries, who will, and what will respect your boundaries. And people go back and forth with me with a bunch of stuff every time I say it. I remember this woman called herself trying to drag me in these TikTok streets because I had made a post, and I was basically saying that if you keep experiencing the same thing over and over and over and over, you're the problem. And well, now it could be this and it could be that and blah 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 blah. And nope, it's you. The only exception to that are things that happen when you're a child, because children are children, right? Your children's parents, your parents, dictate and have a lot of control over you, from like where you live to what you eat to where you go to school to what time you go to bed to the clothes on your back. So that's different, okay, with children. But once you become an adult, I got a news flash for everybody in here. You're not responsible for who hurt you, but you're responsible for your own healing. You said you realize you attract that from narcissistic parents. Yeah, it's a lot of parents that be doing some wild stuff. You said this is what makes that person go straight into the mindset of not having a place on the world. No, that again is a person not taking accountability. You literally are using an excuse to blame everyone else in the world. Other people in the world are not responsible for your emotional state. You're responsible for your emotional state. You're responsible for your esteem. That's why it's called self esteem. That's why one of the biggest challenges in the world is having self awareness and being able to shift your realities into a place where you're happy. The fact that that person would be blaming everyone else in the world for them feeling like they don't fit and they don't have a place instead of them trying to carve out their own place and them building their own table or their own room or their own circles is a person they're like the wind. You know, they're whatever way the wind blows, that's where they're going. They don't have control over their life. They're not in their power. They don't exercise, they don't understand they haven't tapped into their power. And because of that, they're literally saying that all of these external factors are why I am where I am or why I feel how I feel. And that's a sense of entitlement, if we really want to get down to it, that that person has. The fact that that person feels that it's other people's responsibility to take care of them, to raise their self-esteem, to validate them. No, we all know, like on the planet Earth, there are good people and there are trash people. We all know on the planet Earth, there are a set of people that will uplift you, and there's a set of people that will take every opportunity to trot on you. we all know this. This is the reality of the situation. Why? Because there's an infinite number of frequencies, right? And different people and different things and different masses are on different frequencies. So you have to be able to find the power to start shifting your own life. You have to. You have to. You say give grace and loyal to them and not toss them. Nobody's tossing them. But at the same time, nobody owes you grace. Nobody owes you loyalty. You owe yourself grace and loyalty. Let's see, it's like putting a boulder on that person back that did not deserve it, because it's absolutely people that respect others, but God just gives them a lot, and people that turn their backs when they would. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. There are several people that survived horrible atrocities, from enslavement to the Holocaust to being, brutally beat, to being born into a family of, criminals and unalivers and people that are rapists and stuff like that. And you will meet some of them. They are the nicest, most beautiful human beings on the planet Earth. And they have wonderful lives and they have beautiful people around them. They have financial stability. They have time freedom. They have their own beautiful family that they were able to grow and break generational cycles because they understood that they could. Someone that is doing what you're saying right now, that is a person that will struggle and suffer for a long time, because they have the core belief that, like, oh, God's putting all this on me. No, I mean, if we're being honest, who really deserves a lot? Like, if you're coming out innocent as a child, who deserves that? There's no child that deserves to be abused. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about that. Again, you're not responsible for who hurt you, but you're responsible for your own healing. And you have to give your own self grace. I've been through a lot of stuff, but see, you can't imagine that I've been through a lot of things because I don't make that my story. I'm not out here whining or crying about everybody that's betrayed me, anybody that's lied on me, anybody that's hurt me, anybody that's disrespected me, anybody that put their hands on me, anybody that was violent or vile towards me, anybody that set me up, anybody that stole millions of dollars from me. I'm not, like, people literally set me up and tried to have me go to prison, and it didn't work. But I'm not out here whining and crying and leaning into that, because my story is, this is what I overcame. You're talking to somebody that had 13 doctors that told me I was going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, and I'm up and walking around because my story is what I overcome. What, right? That's my story. I'm the captain of my ship. I dictate what's going to happen in my life. Other people don't dictate what's going to happen to me, but I understand that I'm connected to the source, and the source is God. And God says that I have the ability to speak what I want to speak in my life, because death and life is in the power of my tongue. So I understand that. And so therefore, I'm not defined by that. And I don't go through my life in victimhood. And some people do. They like being the victim, because being the victim gets them attention, and being the victim gives them an excuse for why they haven't gotten their life together. And when I meet people that have been through horrid atrocities, and I'm like, dang, you're so nice, you're so kind, you're so lovable, you're a light, your life is amazing. How did you get through this? Every single one of them says the same thing that I'm saying right now. We tap into ourselves. We take accountability and responsibility for what we can control and not other people. And we start getting very, very particular about who we're around. We get very particular about who we spend time with. We start to make sure we know how to identify that, even if it's a familiar energy, and it's a familiar energy that's been harmful, we make sure we know how to identify. And when it's coming in our path, we move. We don't let it be around us. We create parameters, and then we start looking for new experiences that are filled with positivity. We focus on what we can fix. We talk about how we can get out of it. We don't sit here and dwell on our past. I can't do anything to change what happened in my past. I can only make the steps to make my future and my present more livable, more tolerable, more happy, more peaceful, filled with abundance. That's what we do, filled with healing. So that's how that works. So you get to go through life being a victim or being a victor. And it says, to the victor goes the spoils, the treats, the treasure, the dessert, the rewards. They go to the victor, not to the victim. The victim's reward is somebody saying, oh, woo, 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 and I feel sorry for you. And you living in a life of mediocrity because you have, or even beneath mediocrity, because you have decided, oh, I'm bad luck. I'm bad luck slip rock. That's what you've decided. This is just my lot in life. Everything's gonna be bad on me. People are gonna beat me up. No one's gonna be my friend. I can't depend on people. Blah 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 blah. I'm just gonna focus on everything negative that happened on me. Which, because you're in a lower vibrational frequency, now you're gonna continue to pull more negative stuff to yourself, and that's gonna be that. And you're literally gonna sit around crying and blaming everybody else, instead of saying, I have power over my own self, and I can take control over my own life, and I can shift what I want to shift. Literally, the things that I gave today, it doesn't require anything extreme to do any of this. But when we start talking about taking accountability for where you are, taking accountability for your multiple, dysfunctions, taking accountability, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it like people, they get so upset. Like, you're 45 years old, still talking about what your mama did to you when you was 7. She did it, yes, and what? You're gonna keep reliving the trauma that you lived in when you were 7, instead of thinking about all of the new things that you can create in life, all of the new experiences you can have, all of the happiness that's there for you, all of the prosperity, the peace, the willingness, the abundance, all of the joy, like all of these good things that can come to you. But people don't understand this. Sometimes people get comfortable replaying their trauma. They get comfortable replaying their drama. They get so comfortable in their victimhood, instead of understanding the story of my life does not have to be this happened to me, and this is why I'm here, instead of saying I overcame that, I whooped that, I beat that, and I went on to do all of these amazing things and have all of these amazing experiences and have all of this, love and abundance and beautiful things in my life. It's literally a choice. But for some people, because that path of your neurons, it's easier and it's comfortable to blame everyone else. It takes a lot of work to look internally and say, what part did I play in it? And again, you taking accountability does not absolve them of the bad things they did. It doesn't absolve anyone of mistreating you. It doesn't absolve them of disrespecting you just because you took accountability. If you do not take accountability, you are never going to break the cycle that you're in, especially a cycle that's causing misery for yourself. You said I've been feeling this way and I needed to hear this for the accountability I need to take. Let's see, my birthday is coming up and I started writing down plans and manifesting. Happy early birthday. My birthday is coming up too. Everybody, side note, put May 16th in your calendar. That's our big birthday battle. We're getting started at 7 o'clock p.m. And then we'll be back on at 11:30 p.m. that night for like the party. But 7:30. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, May 16th. Put it in your calendar. Also put May 19th on your calendar because I'm going to have a gigantic birthday webinar that day. Okay. That's what we're doing in these streets. Hey, how you doing, gorgeous?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. What you up to?
We just battling.
Yeah, just battling. Hey there, sir.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey,
My. You sure look good online. What I wish.
Not the serenade. We like that. Not the serenade. We like that. Y'all tap the screen. Oh, y'all may want to mute me. We're over here talking about accountability.
Okay.
Talking about what?
Accountability.
Yeah.
Hey, cuz.
You said it's the topic of the day. You had a conversation with your bestie. Yeah, y'all tap that screen. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, baby, you gotta get to a point where you're willing to say, like, what part did I play in this? Or you're literally gonna be stuck in the same cycles. You want to get out of a cycle? Like, and women don't like this, men don't like this when I talk to them about this. But let's talk about dating. And you like, every man I ever been with cheats on me. Every woman is a gold digger. All they did was use me for my money and leave. Guess what? You're the problem.
Yeah, play some music. How about you?
You can't tell me every man or every woman on the planet Earth is a cheater. Because if every man or every woman on the planet Earth was a cheater, that means you're a cheater too. Now, if you're not a cheater, already what you believe is not possible. But you keep going to the same energy. You keep doing the same stuff. You keep picking the same kind of people. You keep not having boundaries. You keep leading with your booty or with your stuff. Like, I mean, you get to a point you got to say, I can't keep acting this way. I can't keep living this way. I can't keep living this way. Because if you do, what you gonna do? You're gonna end up in the same situation. Okay, y'all. You said, oh, we got 3 times. Okay, y'all show out on this 3 times. Okay. Thank you, Queen Nisha 11. Thank you, Penthouse. Thank you, Gina Maxine. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Mrs. Button. Happy early birthday, Melanie. Okay, y'all. 3 times. Drop it up. And let's see what we got to do.